Hi guys and welcome to the south of Spain, and although the weather is pretty okay, but the view is breathtaking, our main subject of today is Audi A1. So let's get straight to it. But before that, actually, let me introduce myself in case you're new to the channel or you haven't heard of me before. I'm pretty excited to review this car because the hatches or hot hatches is really kind of my specialty. I have a track modified Volkswagen Up, don't ask me why, and my daily driver is a Mini Cooper. So anyway, let's get straight to it. The new Audi A1. And while we're standing outside, let me tell you more what I think of the design. And actually, let me grab the cheat sheet from Audi, the technical highlights, Audi A1 Sportback. The first point, wait, that's in German. Here we go in English. Exterior design and body, distinctive masculine design. And I can say I fully agree because, let's be honest, guys, the previous generation A1 was kind of yeah, girly car. Something you would buy for your daughter or your girlfriend. Unless you would have a S1, something I'm very excited for this model, but we'll get to that later. But this, the new model, even in the base, although with some S-line exterior design elements, is great looking car. This is something I would definitely wouldn't mind, actually would be pretty much proud to be seen in. I would actually go for a turbo blue color, and actually I was supposed to be driving a turbo blue color, but a friend of mine asked if we could swap, and I agreed, and I was actually pretty happy about it, but I will get to that later on. And on the second day I got to drive the A1 in this amazing, marvelous turbo blue, and I can understand if the piton yellow is not your cup of tea, but this, I mean, come on, this is a completely different car. And here are some other color options that are available, starting with my absolute favorite, the turbo blue with the S-line wheels painted in white, reminding me of the old S2. And like the old school S2, related to rally roots, it's a rally capable car, I guess. Good job. Fancy red, and then special, I don't know, greenish turquoise. And then another favorite of mine, the gray with copper. I'm pretty sure they have some fancy naming, but let's keep it basic, shall we? But anyway, going back to design. The new headlights with LED daylights are actually great, amazing. Especially, they don't only look great, they perform well as well. When I picked up this car earlier this morning, it was still dark, and I can say the performance of the lights is amazing. It's anything that you would expect from Audi in general. I hope I will get some nighttime driving with it, or maybe tomorrow morning when it's still dark, so I can show it to you on camera. But again, just trust me, it's great. Then we'll have some nice bumper design elements. Those are the base wheels. You also can go for optional S-line wheels, which look even better than they are. On the back, also a very nice distinctive taillight feature. They kind of have like a 3D effect. I'm not sure if the camera is good enough to capture it. Yeah, from this angle you can see it. It's a very nice distinctive feature. Then on the back you have the diffuser, exhaust, some extra design elements on the bumper, and this small cheeky but very nice spoiler, although I ask myself if it's really functional, but this doesn't matter of the car in this performance range, although that's actually quite impressive, something I'll get back later. However, if you're gonna think like, oh, it's only gonna praise the car, no, you are definitely wrong, because people enjoy my reviews, and I think the reviews should be unbiased. So there are definitely going to be some things that I kind of either don't like or find questionable. And the first thing is actually the grille. Although the design in terms of visual aspect is great, some people might not like the actual visual aspect of those, I don't know how to call them, but what I definitely am questioning is whether if it's actually safe, because I can get 3 fingers through here. We have here a small rock that we could find, actually over here, a pretty big rock, I would say. I would easily go through it. Now, of course, how often are you going to go off-road with this car? Well, I did it today. But I'm pretty sure some of you have experienced stone chips on their windows from like a small rock being thrown from a car driving in front of you. If you're familiar with my channel, you know that, for example, AMG GTR has nice intakes on the side, and a lot of owners have complained that their intercoolers are getting destroyed. But yeah, I guess the future will tell us whether it is indeed a problem, or maybe there's some special aerodynamic effect that nothing will get into the grille, but it's just my opinion. Strangely enough, however, this problem can be very easily solved, because for the reference, the updated R8 has also partially big part of open grille that you can see here. But when you look closer, the radiator is covered with additional protective layer of plastic. So in case a stone would go through the first part of the grille, it will be stopped by the second layer of plastic. Well, let's go to the next part. Actually, while we're outside first, let me tell you something about the brakes. They perform well. They perform well for a small hatchback. We drove through lots of mountain roads, so there was lots of accelerating and braking. And especially during mountain roads, the brakes get, well, should I say, some kick in the ass. But there was no brake fading noticeable, and after stopping, I couldn't smell anything. So that was good. But now let's move on to the interior. Yeah, I know. The side lights are on. Thank you for warning me, dear car, dear Audi A1. Good. So, remember when I told you that I was pretty happy that I got the yellow color? Because I found out if you're going to get the Audi A1 and you're going to go, like, to check the spec list, make sure to, absolutely not get yellow matching interior colors. Because it's very distracting when you're driving, and it's just something. The idea is great, but the car comes with also interior lighting, so that's more than enough, but this is way too much. Maybe if you have like some matching blue color, like turbo blue or some black or something darker colors will be great, but yellow is just horrible idea. And for comparison, this is how interior looks like without over excessive interior colors, but with subtle interior lighting, which underlines the design features. And well, if you ask me, this is the way that you should spec the interior. Right now it's very difficult to see because the sunlight is very hard, but I think the only thing you need to see here is that it's not in your face. I found some shadow, so that's a lot better. That's even better. To continue on the bad things side of things, when I reviewed the Audi Q3, I said that the car had by far the best seats I ever sat in. However, with the Audi A1, I have quite some issue with the headrests, because maybe you can see hopefully on the camera, there's a massive gap between my neck and the space between it, and thereby it's kind of always tensed. There's not really rest between it. Quick addition I have to make while I'm sitting here eating my apple and waiting for the road service because I ran over pothole and got a flat tire. Yep. But anyway, yesterday when I was comparing the green car or the yellow car, I was very tired after a long flight and a short night, and thereby my neck, so to say, was extra sensitive, and that's why I was kind of nagging about the seats. But now, after spending an extra day with this car and driving a lot more, I can say it's not as bad as I initially thought, but still, what I want to say, if you do have a sensitive neck, then you may again want to test drive the seats, test drive the car before you're actually gonna buy it, because maybe that's important for you. For the rest, the seats offer enough support and comfort, and most importantly, while I'm sitting here and waiting again, the amazing Bang & Olufsen 3D sound system offers me lots of, well, how should I say, comfort and serenity. No, while I was driving, it was actually one of the best audio systems that I have experienced. So, and definitely it's actually the first 3D sound system that's available in this class of a vehicle, in this segment. So yeah, it's very impressive. Now let's keep on waiting and you enjoy the rest of the review. I'm 1.85 m. I forgot what it is in foot. Here's the calculation. Many people have actually asked me to answer the question if the car is suitable for tall drivers. So by being 1.85 m, it's actually pretty good in terms of, well, driver position and the space I have. Regarding the roof space, I think it's pretty decent. If you're taller, I think it should be okay, but if you're over 2 meters high, that's going to be questionable. Let's go to the back while we are talking about the driver position and the space. While there is enough space on the front, on the back, if you're a tall person, first of all, if you have a tall driver, then you cannot have a tall passengers behind. It is, I wouldn't say I wouldn't bother to be driving like this to the grocery shop or something, but the long Euro trip would be a big issue. But if you have a short passenger, you can have a tall real driver. But anyway, going back to the paradox. Well, I told you that the front seats, the headrests, are actually something I wouldn't like. The back ones is actually probably the best back seats I ever had, so it's amazing. But then on the other hand, there's not much space here for a tall passenger. So it's a questionable thing, but again, if you're a shorter person, or if you don't mind, or if you're gonna swap seats, or you're gonna make it a track tool, something we're gonna go later on if it's possible, then it's definitely no issue. But again, the long story short, make sure before you are actually gonna blind buy the car, make sure to go to a dealer, sit in it, and see if it suits you, because that's a very important thing. Because I might be just nagging, some people wouldn't mind it, maybe you wouldn't mind it, but that's definitely a thing that you should consider before buying this car. Another very important aspect of any car is the luggage space. So here I have a small sized suitcase that I took with me here on this trip, and some other, well, my coat, etc. So it is decent, it's average. You can put a bigger size in it, you can also fold everything. Let me get rid of that and show you how big it is. Now that's all gone, we can have a look underneath. The battery is here, so it could be pretty convenient in case you're gonna have a flat battery. Air pump for your tires, so it could be very convenient. And what is this? Tire seal. Good, good. So all the emergency equipment you have here at hand. But suppose you want to take this car on an IKEA trip. So let's see how easy this will fold. All with one hand. That's nice. Getting rid of that. And then one push of a button, another push of a button. Easy. And you have actually quite some space. Let's get to the parts that I absolutely love about this car, and starting with the virtual cockpit. This is absolutely, well, if you've seen more of my videos, every time I get into Audi, I absolutely praise the virtual cockpit. This is the best invention. And now let me switch off the music. I am very, very excited and, well, happy to announce that this feature is now available on the, well, the smallest Audi model of them all, the A1. Although it is an option, but if you're going to spec it, don't get the interior matching yellow, but make sure to absolutely get this. This is, I don't know how much the exact option, but even if it was like 5,000 euros, which is definitely not, this is just simply great. This is how much I love it, and this could be a biased thing. But anyway, if you're new to this, just look at this. You can have the information about the car, you can have your playlist, you can have, well, your call list, and most importantly for me, why I absolutely love it, is the GPS, which you can have here on your main screen, opposed to this. For example, in the R8, you don't have the second screen, you have all the info here, and that's all you need basically. That's why I absolutely love it. If you want to have more info about the kilometers and the RPM, you just press the view button, and then it swaps to this. Absolutely great and fabulous. Then you have a couple of more options that you can go through, but yeah, you can just check out my Q3 review if you want to see how this screen works more in detail. But again, everything is at your tips of your fingers, so to say. You have the control of the infotainment screen here, you have the sound control here, the voice command control. So for example, you could say something, good morning.
Navigation, for example, say where is there an Italian restaurant.
The thing is, because it's now connected in the GPS mode, it's now automatically assumes that I'm gonna say something about the GPS. So, where is the gas station?
Searching for museum nearby. Could you say the line number, please?
No, go back.
Please say a special destinations category.
Gas station.
Could you say that again, please?
Petrol station.
I'll search for petrol station.
Aha, that's the issue. Go back. Let's try it again. So it's very sensitive to the exact wording of it. Okay, let's try it again.
Please say a category for your search in the surrounding. Could you say that again, please? Searching for restaurant nearby.
I don't know, I found it pretty funny. So the voice control might not be smooth, it's definitely entertaining. Anyway, going back to the other features of this car. Again, controls are here, you have the paddle shifts here. I, again, love the way they are positioned. Some people gonna say like, I prefer like long, tall pedal shifts that you would find on other cars, but I actually love it. Also, the R8 have this small type of pedal shifts, and it's great. That's all you need. It's comfortable, it's convenient. Again, for me, opinions may differ. But let's, speaking of the pedal shifts, the S-tronic gearbox. It is good, it's great. I was actually excited to drive the manual because if you're going, like, let's say, if to be honest, if you're on a budget and you just gonna go for a baseline spec and you want a manual gearbox, or maybe because you're like save the manual mentality, you want to go for the manual. I really wanted to see how the thrusts are, if it's like not too long, and if it comes with the auto rev match without a blip, so to say, but I'm pretty sure it is. But yeah, the S-tronic is a great gearbox. The Mini that I told you earlier about that I'm driving is manual, and it's good, but as a daily driver you do miss the automatic gearbox, and this absolutely great. You can have it in D and drive, or you can have it in S sport, or you can have it in, well, you can have it in manual, and then you can tell it exactly what to do the way you want it to be done. So actually, again, if you're going for this car, I think the S-tronic gearbox is another mandatory option that you should go for. Let's cover the infotainment system a bit more. What kind of options do you have and how sensitive the touchscreen is? It's actually okay. I'm not touching it too much, and it's very sensitive. It's very good. So you can see that I'm like not really pushing it, and some touch screens out there on the market are not that sensitive, and it's good. In terms of fingerprints as well, you can see like when I did like this very big push, then it left some fingerprint over here, I think. No, it actually didn't. What am I telling? It's just a weather thing. So massive kudos. If you don't have fat fingers after Kentucky Fried Chicken, then you're actually pretty good. That was a big issue in the early model screens, but it doesn't leave that much fingerprints after. Of course, again, if you are going through McDrive or Kentucky Fried Chicken, you might have an option, but then again, it's your own stupid fault. But going back to the actual screen, again, it's very sensitive. You have all the, well, the radio options, the music player options, what else, the phone option, and again, this whole thing can be transported to your virtual cockpit here, and that's basically all you need. Long story short, it's a very good, capable display. It doesn't have the information clutter that you get all the useless information that you don't need, or you need to look for things way too long, and you don't need to tap on it like crazy, because it just like with a very gentle push, it immediately reacts to your commands. That's good. Anyway, going down here, you have the air conditioning controls, you have the seat heater controls, the drive select. The car comes with efficiency mode, auto mode, dynamic mode, and there's individual mode, and you can adjust the drive system, the suspension, which is an option, the steering, balanced or dynamic, and engine sound. Questionable thing about this, I mean, well, I guess we'll have to take it for granted because everybody is doing it nowadays. The steering, however, I must say, as someone who is a massive track enthusiast, etc., I find the steering very light. It is very great and very comfortable, but if you are a sporty driver, you might find that there's a small lack of feedback. I'm not like saying it's a massively bad thing, but again, it is an individual opinion. You might absolutely love it. In some situations, it's very good. But again, if you're going to use this car on the track, and again, because my channel is more oriented to track driving, then you might consider different suspension or probably wait for S1. But anyway, going back to performance, well, no, wait, actually, let me save one more thing. There is another feature that you don't see because there's a gearbox in front of it. And it is actually, come out, don't be shy. It's the sound regulation, or skipping the track, going to left to right and adjusting the sound. But then again, this is probably meant for the passenger, because as a driver, why would you go somewhere there? Because you're actually using the sound regulation on your steering wheel. Then you have cup holders, 3 of them for a very small cup, and the larger cup, but then again, they're not really big sized. But I do know that sometimes where cup holders really matter, for example, in the United States, the models of car manufacturers in those countries come with a larger size cup holders. But enough of cup holders. Another thing that I forgot to mention that I really love, look at this, USB-C. Then you have the 12-volt connector. It's not a smoking package, so you can just like connect your charger. But if you have the USB-C outlets, and actually, why would you need a phone charger? Because the car comes with wireless charging here. It's a nice rubber coated mat, so your phone will not be sliding around, and it works pretty well. In other models and earlier models, this was kind of like not really charging fast enough for my liking, but in this case it actually does the job very well. Now let's get to the best part, or should I say something about the ventilation system? It's very good that you have 2 separate vents for the passenger. I think that's pretty nice, and 2 for the driver, and nothing in the middle that just like blows the air to the backwards, to the back side, to the back passengers, and actually already either cools down, already warms up before it reaches the passengers, and you cannot adjust them to the driver or the passenger. So I like the position of those. And the Bang & Olufsen sound system is also very nice. But this is again something individual. If you think that sound is important, you should get it. If you don't matter, then you should leave it. But going back to something again that I find important is performance, and I'm very happy and excited that I have S-Line 40 TFSI. 40 TFSI means that it is 200 whopping ass-kicking horsepower. Honestly, when I was already like very much excited when I saw that the car would be available with 200 horsepower, and then I got into this car and we drove out of the parking lot, and the first time I didn't even like floor it, but I accelerated, and I'm like, oh my god, what happens when I floor it? Wheel spin, yes. So the traction control is not too intrusive in like when you actually floor it, so the car, I think, recognizes that you're doing something that you want to do, and then it does its job. You can obviously also fully switch it off. You can go to like the sport mode, or you can completely switch it off. So like this, ta-da, there we go. Yeah, but performance is actually a bit too much for the stock tires. This car is equipped with some Bridgestones. I don't remember which type exactly, but if you are a very big driving enthusiast and you again want to take this car out on a track, then make sure to fit something more stickier. But again, I think it's a kind of stupid comment, because if you are going to take a car out on a track, then you're going to fit stickier tires, whether the car is having 200 horsepower or 100 horsepower. But again, performance is actually great. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I have saved the best for the last, and we have arrived to the last part of this review, and probably for me and the majority of my audience on this channel, the most important part, the performance. And I'm very excited to tell you that the car that I'm driving is actually 40 TFSI, meaning in today's language of Audi distinction of the models, 40 TFSI means it has 200 whopping horsepower and 320 Newton meters of torque on, let me grab the cheat sheet again here, 1165 kilograms or 2,500 pounds, including driver. I don't know how much Audi calculates for the driver, let's say 60 or 70, then it is like sub 1100 kilograms. It is crazy. It actually, I will be again honest with you, it's not a good or a bad thing, but it is a thing. The performance is actually too much for this car. I mean, let's say you put this car on a track, then actually other components like suspension are a limiting factor. On the street, however, it's more than enough, because again, power to weight ratio, you'll be faster than probably 80% of the people out there, maybe 90, maybe 95, depending which country you are at, and if you're living in the Nürburgring, then you'll be probably faster than the 50, depending how long you're trying. But anyway, what I'm telling you is 200 horsepower, crazy, it's so fast. And if you're buying this car again to your daughter, or for your daughter or your girlfriend, then maybe you want to take a smaller sized engine. And actually, even if you're buying for yourself as a daily car, you should take a smaller sized engine, because even then it's going to be more than enough. But however, if you want to buy this car for the track, then make sure to get this, and it's more than enough. I really want it. To summarize, overall, it is an amazing car. There are some flaws, but they're actually really individual. You really have to see whether the car suits to you in terms of your size, of your length, in terms of this, like the amount of passengers. If you're gonna buy it as a family car, then, well, you should definitely go look for something bigger like A3 or even Q3. If you want to have it as a sportier driver, as a track tool maybe even, then it's again great car. You just need to upgrade a couple of components like suspension and tires, because the engine is, again, wow, it's great. So the gearbox is also great. So overall, see for yourself. But just one thing, do not get yellow matching interior, that's bad. But for everything else, I really want one, whether it's a daily driver, but then I would get again a smaller sized engine, and as a track car, I'm excited to see what S1 is going to do. because it's definitely going to have more horsepower. It's going to have all-wheel drive, which is going to benefit that a lot, because for front-wheel drive and the small size tires, well, the stock tires that are equipped on this car, 200 horsepower is way too much. Another important thing, if you're considering this car, is the price. The prices start from roughly 25,000 euros, depending on the country, and go up, if you take all the possible option, up to slightly over 50,000 euros. Yes, this much. But I'm talking also about like the ski boxes, like the roof boxes. This is something you don't need. But get a baseline car, get the virtual cockpit, get LED daylights, just LED headlights, S-tronic gearbox, and then you have everything you need. Well, I guess that's it. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe if you like this content. If not, let me know in the comments what I should improve. And if everything was fine, let me know what you like the most about this car, or again, the least, and if you agree with me on this yellow things. Yeah, but I'm gonna drive, because this car is amazing to drive, especially through the roads of the south of Spain in Ronda. Speaking of which, we're actually here at the circuit of Ascari, so the next video that will be published will be probably R8 review, the new R8, so make sure to stay tuned for that. See you, bye bye. Yeah, I forgot to say, the sound is actually pretty okay, especially if you have to take into consideration that modern cars are all equipped with OPF and blah blah blah.